Welcome back, Jeepers, and today we're going to talk about something that if you own a newer Jeep, JL, JT, I get a lot of conversations about it on past videos I've made, and it's all about that stop-start system. So we're going to cover some of the issues with it, a couple ways to change that battery, and some of the things that are causing the problem, and most importantly, when it really is your stop-start system that's causing the problem, or is it really something else? Alright, Jeepers, so if you have a JL or JT, you have the lovely stop-start system. And there's ways to disable this, and we'll get into that. But typically, unless you have it turned off, and you'll know that by that light coming on. Alright, so let's talk about some of the issues that will turn this on. So some of the things that will cause your stop-start system to throw an error code. And what do I mean by error code? That lovely A that pops up. So believe it or not, if you re-gear, you're going to get this code. ABS issue, you're going to get the code as well. Just about anything that gives you an engine code will also give you a charging issue. So another issue I had, like many Jeepers, when you put accessories on, you attach right to your terminals. Negative terminal on a JL or JT, the system does a lot of monitoring on it. And if you got anything that's drawing a constant load off of this, it throws your whole system in error, and it wasn't allowing my system to recharge. Also gives me a start-stop error. So everything was moved. It was moved down to this body bolt right there. Now there doesn't seem to be an issue. You connect all your stuff to your positive terminal, but when the dealer ran his scans, he's seen an error on a feedback from the system. So the Jeep actually monitor the negative line on the computer, and anything that affects that draw or load, if you will also throw you up a stop-start error. Alright, so just about anything that causes an engine code will also disable the start-stop system and give you this lovely A. I'm quite certain there's a whole list of any time that the system sees anything out of irregularity, it's going to throw an error on your dash. But does that necessarily mean that you're having a start-stop issue? You'll get the warning, charging system disabled, but that necessarily doesn't mean that you have start-stop battery issues. Well, I know this because I've been through this. 97,000 miles, 2 batteries later, and I have one of the very early model JLs, and since it's a manual, it's real early. And there was not a lot known about it, including with the dealers. Alright, so there's 2 ways to get into your start-stop battery. One is through the top here, and as you see in this clip, you got to dig under all this to get to it. So that's one way. And you might have seen that video on the channel. And if you're getting this code, the minute you turn off the Jeep, the code erases. So if you get the code, go up to your dealer and have them read it while it's running. The minute you turn it off, it resets. And I've changed it this way. So your inner wheel well, if you pull your fender and wheel well out, there's this door right here with 3 screws in it. If you drop those 3 screws, that battery will come right out the bottom, and you can change it that way. And that way you ain't got to take your whole PCM system out, which this is maybe a 20 minute change. Now the batteries, I think they're around 100-ish, 150. If you re-gear, whether it's through the taser or something else, you're going to have to reset the system, otherwise you're going to get an error. So any kind of axle work or anything where the system reads back, if you have a Rubicon and do something different with the engage, disengage, the taser will fix that. But if you just arbitrarily do that and put it on a switch, you're going to get an error. Anything in the system that it monitors and feeds back, which is going to be any kind of switch, any kind of relay, you're going to get start-stop issues. So if it just won't start, and I'm not going to put this up there because if you touch the wrong terminals, you can short the system out. But there is a way to jump your system from the primary to the auxiliary, and it's just 2 of the terminals on that PCM. I'll let you look that up. But if you have to get a new battery, make sure you take out these terminals and put those on the new battery, because it doesn't come with it. and if you lose them, that's a dealer item. And then if you do that, use some kind of anti-corrosive. We're not sponsored by CRC, but put something on it so it doesn't corrode, because you can't get to it very easily. Now we all know how the start-stop system normally works. When you start your Jeep up, the light's off, meaning the system is activated, and when you want to turn it off, you hit the button. Now we run the taser in ours, and this is a big tool if you want to do any kind of regearing or modifications to your system. We did a big video on this on the channel. But the one thing nice about the JL taser, and there are many other systems that does it, when you hit the button, it will stay on. It stays modal, if you will. So this way you don't always have to keep turning it on and off. And just like we showed earlier in the video, remember that if you're working on the system and you take off your positive and negative leads, your system still has 12 volts on it. It's not like older vehicles where you could take those off and they would be dead. So you really got to be careful when you take those off. I generally wrap them with the sock. I get start-stop questions at least once a week. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. More than happy to try to answer what I can. So until then, see you in the next video. Remember, it's not always your battery when you have a start-stop issue.